Well, you know, I always remember me and my two sisters living. My granny took care of us. I very seldom ever remember my mom being around. I just don't remember much of that, because most of the time she was gone. And she got reported, and we got taken away, all three of us. And we got adopted out.
And let the blind man say, I can see again.
You know what? It was nothing like this. So we'd walk to church, and we took catechism and stuff like that, but people, they never cared. Not like people here do.
Let the river flow.
Well, my adopted father got cancer and passed away. In '69 he passed away, and Mom, all the Bartses, most people know Bartses, there was 15 of them, and most of them lived here, so this is where we came. They lived around this area, between Taylor, LaBelle, and all them places. School was awesome, because we went from 170, 80-some seniors to 21. I loved it. Learned more. People had more time for you. Oh yeah. Thought I was in love.
Okay, and you were still in school?
Yeah.
When you fell in love for the first time?
Got married.
Okay, tell me a little bit about how old you were, and tell me a little bit about how you met him.
I was still, let me take that, March, April. I was 18 when I got married, but I was still a senior. But it was not a good marriage, because he was very abusive. And after he'd been gone a few days and comes in and says, you know, nicely, where you been? You get knocked over the ironing board. So that kind of abuse. I took the truck when the baby was little, because he'd been gone like I don't know how many days. So I went to my aunt's. He found out where I was at, and so I went to my natural mother's, because I met her again when I was 18. And he found out where I was at. You couldn't run from him. Finally, when he got in trouble and went to the pen, I didn't have to worry about that no more.
You are not a God created.
We got married, but he was always out cheating, so that didn't work.
Okay, where was this man? Tell me where this new man was that you met.
Quincy, at the bar. That's where I met him. He used to like to frequent the bars and drink. And I liked the men. Nothing to be proud of, but I did. And you know, I kind of attribute some of that to, like, you know, you're being taken away from your family, and it's like you just need to be needed. But that was never the case, because nobody really ever wanted you. So it seemed like, you know, you just go from one to another until you think you're going to find that certain one, and it doesn't happen. Seemed sweet at first, but he liked women too much, so he was gone a lot. But he was very abusive too. So I left. But it seemed like no matter where you go, you know, it's like he don't want you, but he won't have nobody else to have you. So he's always finding me no matter where I went. And very abusive when he did find me. I finally just went and filed divorce papers. And he got very upset with me, but he went ahead and let me get the divorce.
Worthy of everything we can give. You are God, that's just the way it is.
Oh, just so much in between. You know, the bars, the drinking, the men. And then I fell in love with my last husband.
Okay.
And we got married. We didn't have any children because he had children. I went to a bar in Durham one night, and that's where I met him.
The nightlife.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. And we were together almost 20 years. Even though there was cheating, I stayed. But then again, you know, when you think, okay, I'm going to get even, which you should never do, but you do. So no, it didn't work.
From before time began, you were on your throne.
And when I went, you know, I wasn't there every Sunday. And I got a little card in the mail one day. It said Jason Geisendorfer's going to preach today, so I made sure I went. And it made a big change in my life. But when Freedom in Christ started, that's when I was, you know, around a person a lot that had invited me to church. And they were talking about you getting this building. And I said, then I'll be there. Well, I started coming, you know, and then I was gone a month down to Kentucky. But I started here before I left, and then when I came back, I was here. Just so much, because, you know, here people love you and people care for you. And I've never been to any church where I've seen that people really, really, truly cared about each other. Never. And I have gone to a few in my, you know, being an adult, different ones. Even LaBelle, Knox City. No. They didn't even compare. And here, if you need help, they're there. People are here to help you. If you need somebody to talk to, then you have somebody to talk to. And you know, now the man in my life is God, and I'm satisfied.
Thy power throughout the universe.
Oh, he's awesome. The most awesome man I've ever had in my life. One that doesn't lie to you, that doesn't cheat on you, that doesn't beat you, that truly, truly loves you. One that you can go to anytime with your troubles. And he won't turn you away. And I love him. And I know how much he loves me. And I just want everybody else to be able to experience the same thing. Oh.
What do you do and what do you think?
I'm going to go outside of my circle to tell other people about him. And you know, I pray before you go that they don't reject you. And it's not because you don't like them if they do reject you. It's because your heart goes out to them, because you know where they're headed if they don't. And you know me, I've said over and over, I don't want to see anybody go to hell. Anybody. I want the whole world saved. And you know, sometimes when you go out and you witness, sometimes it seems like, why? But then you don't worry, because God reminds you why. You know why. And there's times, you know, and I'm far, far from perfect, and there's times I kind of don't get into the Word like I should. And don't worry, because I sure get under conviction if I don't. And or if you go to Sunday school and church, which I don't try to miss at all, because I really miss all of you when I'm not here. Even though some of them give me a hard time. I love it here because, too, you know, everybody is family. And when somebody needs prayer, people are there to pray for you. People don't just sit and stand around. And when he says, when I repent and it comes from the heart, he forgives me. It doesn't matter what other people think. He forgives me. And you know, I find that I have so much more love than I used to have. I always loved people. And I wanted to do stuff for people, but now I have more love for people than I used to have. And you're wanting to help people. You're wanting to do things for people. And you're wanting them to give their lives to the Lord. You're wanting them to ask him to accept them. Because I learned we don't accept him, he accepts us because we're not worthy. And when I can go from being the kind of person that I was and as bad as I was, and him be the only man in my life, it's awesome. The most awesomest thing that's ever happened in my life. And when I can go from being the kind of person that I was and as bad as I was, and him be the only man in my life, it's awesome. The most awesomest thing that's ever happened in my life.